Hey, what's up guys? Rampedi here. It's another week and another episode with the new theme. Cristiano Ronaldo, his interview. What did I think of it? Bafana Bafana played and the World Cup has just begun. Gotta talk about it. Let's go.
That's how it goes?
They keep asking about the best when they know it's me.
Okay.
Asking about the rest when they know it's me.
Straight in, I guess.
You know it's me.
Bafana Bafana played over the weekend. Our national team was in action. They had two friendlies. They played against Mozambique and as well as Angola, having one win and a draw, scoring goals, but conceding goals as well. Overall, what's the camp worth it? I mean, the camp is something that Hugo Broos was fighting for. He really wanted this camp. He wanted to get to know the players better. And I think it was worth it. You know, I think there were some players who impressed, and I think there were some players that, really need to up their game if they're going to be in the squad that has to face Liberia in the crucial AFCON qualifiers. But let's start off with the highlight, right? Let's start off with the players who impressed. I put down names here. Miguel Tim. He fits it in like a glove. Talk about a player who's playing within his first cap for Bafana Bafana, the age that he is. He showed his experience in bringing that Orlando Pirates form into the national squad. So with him, I think he is definitely a mainstay. Nico Moby. They asked Hugo Broos about this player, and I think they were trying to poke fun because of maybe his form at Sekhukhune has not been so great. But Hugo Broos fired back and said, this player has never let me down. I don't know what you guys are talking about. This player's never let me down. And he was crucial, especially in that win over Mozambique, flying up and down that right-hand side. And it seems like he's made that position his own. And I think for a lot of players, the note that you can take from this is the fact that if you win Hugo Broos over, never mind what the media says, you will get picked. Next one, Hlongwane. Bongobuhle, he came back, international player, scoring the 2 goals against Mozambique. And it also just highlighted the importance of having those international players to come into the squad. So the likes of Kodisang, I'm really hoping that Hugo Broos is watching them. Tebogo Mokoena, he's getting better. I have to admit, he's getting better. I was a little bit skeptical in terms of how his form was at Mamelodi Sundowns last season, but he's come back this season looking a lot fitter as well and playing in that role that Andile Jali usually plays, but he's bringing that form to Bafana Bafana and as well as Themba Zwane, standing up, doing what he's got to do, bringing his experience. Now we got to focus on the players that I think need to up their game if they want to be part of this side of Bafana Bafana, because this squad, I think, will qualify for AFCON. They just need 4 points against Liberia. That's it. That's all they need. So they have to shape up. Number 1, Lepasa. Lepasa, I think he gives his all. He tries, he runs around, but he's not a killer in front of goal. He's not selfish enough. I don't see that from him. He's always trying to pass. He's always trying to be too nice. And I just think in this game, if you're trying to solidify your place, you have to be more ruthless than that. Mudiba at left back. I don't know if anyone has noticed. His form has kind of dipped quite a bit, and I think it's kind of shown with Sundowns having to go get Terence Mashego as well. And his form, even in a Bafana Bafana shirt, not necessarily great. Fragile, similar elements to the Basa. I think he's just too nice. For a player with that kind of speed, you can damage defenders, but he's not using it that much. To be fair, he could argue I didn't get the ball that much, but sometimes command it, like ask for it. That's all you just need to do. And last but not least, it's going to shock you guys, but I put his name down, Segota. Yes, a shining light for Kaizer Chiefs, but what I'm starting to notice that's becoming a habit of this player is he does take on defenders, which is something that I like. He does run at them as well. But the output, the end product, I think it really needs to get better. It really needs to get better. You know what you remind me of, Sahota? You remind me of Adama Traore at Wolves. Powerful, strong, fast. But at the end of the season, you'll probably end up with just 2 assists and 1 goal. And that's it. So I'd probably have to say his end product definitely needs to get better. Next up is Liberia. And for me, I'm expecting 6 points. There's no 2 ways about it. There's no excuses about it. The team only needs 4 because you would think Morocco will get the job done against Liberia. But for me, 6 points is what I'm looking for. Hugo Broos and the boys better get ready. March next year is going to be big. The World Cup has started. It has kicked off. We've seen goals. We've seen assists, saves, top players as well. Qatar, that result, they're the host nation, but I expected that result. There's nothing that I didn't expect. I didn't expect for them to come out and beat Ecuador. I thought they were just too strong. But now, this tournament means a lot to people, and you can see that. And these are the results so far, as you can see. Now, I've come up with this, and I want you guys to join me in this. I want you guys to put it in the comments. So this is also the bracket that I've put up. The winner, the golden boot, the golden ball, the best young player under 22 years old, golden glove, and the dark horse. So I'm going to be putting up mine, and I want you guys to join me in the comments and tell me what your guys' one is. Let's start off with the dark horses first. Got 3 options here. First one, Netherlands. Unbeaten in the last 16. You know, they've been amazing in these last 16 games. Louis van Gaal coming in there as well with the experience that he does have. Remember what they did at the 2014 World Cup as well? Just that goal Robert van Persie scored as well. I just think they'll be able to bring in that form. Secondly, Croatia. I mean, a lot of people might not rate Croatia, but the last 5 games, they're unbeaten. You know, they've won all the games and they're runners up. And one thing about Croatia that I like about them, they just never stop running. Never stop running. Number 3, Portugal. Yep. Portugal's a dark horse for me. I wouldn't say they're outrights, but when you look at this Portuguese squad, this is arguably the most talented Portuguese squad I've ever seen. Ever. When you look at the likes of Ronaldo, who's there, Bruno Fernandes, Bernardo Silva, William Carvalho, Cancelo. I mean, they got options for days. So those are my 3 options that I would have to say from a dark horse perspective. The Golden Glove Award. So this award goes to the best goalkeeper of the tournament. Who's most likely to be the best goalkeeper of the tournament, Shakes? 3 options again. Number 1, Alisson. I mean, his form at Liverpool has been a little bit shaky, but it's not down to him. It's just that the defense has just not been great. But when he puts on a Brazil kit, he is different level. 57 games played for the Brazil national team, 39 clean sheets. That's how crucial that he's been. Number 2, Martinez, Emiliano, the Aston Villa goalkeeper. I think he could be a potential because I do think Argentina will have a very good tournament. And also 19 games played in an Argentinian shirt, and as well as 14 clean sheets. And last but not least, Thibaut Courtois. You have to put him in. You have to put him in because of the form that he's been in. He is the best goalkeeper in the world at this current moment, having to win at the Ballon d'Or ceremony as well. So he's been in sublime form, and those are my 3 goalkeepers potentially most likely to win the Golden Glove. Best young player, under 22 years old. So by the year 2022, January the 1st, they must have been 21 years old when the year started. 3 options. Vinicius Jr., number 1. He's impacting games, especially for Real Madrid, especially considering that Benzema has not been around in the last couple of games. And look at that, goal involvements, 15 goal involvements in 21 games. I mean, this is crazy for players that are under 23. Unbelievable. Secondly, Bukayo Saka started off his tournament really great, scoring a brace. And he's a player that I've been watching a lot, considering the fact that I watch a whole lot of Arsenal. And last season for me is when he started to just show that he's got potential to be a world-class player, carrying that Arsenal side, especially considering the likes of Lacazette when scoring and Aubameyang left. And he's starting to show it in an England jersey too. Last but not least, Jamal Musiala, the player at Bayern Munich. I mean, these numbers are crazy, guys. You know, you look at these players that are playing in Europe and you look at these numbers and you're like, but how? Like, how is it possible that they are just so young? I mean, look at these numbers. I mean, that's why Bayern Munich have forgotten about Lewandowski. That's why. I mean, 22 games played and 12 goals and 10 assists. 22 games played, 22 goal involvements. I mean, that's outrageous for kids that are, potential to be best young players. So that fight for that title is going to be down to the wire. The Golden Ball Award. So this award goes to the best player overall, not just the young players. So I've come up with my options, man. And it's still early in the tournament. So this is all just predictions. And I'd like to hear yours. Please do not forget to tell me yours in the comments. Number 1, Neymar. Yep, the talisman of Brazil. Scores a lot of goals, the playmaker. He is so crucial to that side that if Brazil want to have any chance of winning this tournament, he has to play well. Definitely. Number 2, Lionel Messi, the player who took the Golden Ball Award in 2014. And let me tell you, man, a lot of people talk about Messi, since he can't do it at PSG. He's not doing it well in France. He's under par at France. He's all of that. He can only do it in a Barcelona shirt. You know how people speak. I mean, look at these numbers for PSG this season. 19 games played, 12 goals, and 14 assists. I mean, this is the Messi that we saw at Barcelona. I mean, his goals and assists are level. And Jamal Musiala is a talented player, but he's like 20, 21 years old. This guy's 35, and he's still pulling out numbers like this. I mean, I think he definitely has the potential, and I think also Argentina at a different level as well. Number 3, Modric. Luka Modric. Yes, not the name you expected, did you? I've gone with Luka Modric, a player who's played over 150 caps for Croatia. And I think with Croatia as well, it's the same as Neymar. If they want to stand any chance of winning this tournament, he has to play well. And for someone who is in his late 30s, he just never stops running. He never stops running. And you would argue that the best we've seen of Modric is after he passed 35. Not before. After he passed 35, that's when we're starting to see the best of him. So for me, those are the 3 players potentially most likely to win the Golden Ball. Finally, the Golden Boot Award. This award goes to the player who scores the most goals. Not the best player overall, just scores the most goals. Can you find the back of the net? That's it. Number 1, Neymar again. Why I said Neymar? He's only a few goals behind Pele to be the Brazil's all-time national top scorer. And he's going to chase it. I tell you now, he's going to chase it, and he's the man on penalties as well for Brazil. Number 2, Mbappe. Kylian Mbappe, I tell you, man, this France team, I'm not scared. I'm not worried about it up front. It's behind. I think at the back, I'm not sure if they're going to be able to keep a lot of clean sheets. I think this France side is going to create a lot. And also, Benzema's out. So who's the next star, man? It's him. And he said it before. He loves playing with Olivier Giroud because Giroud likes to pass the ball to him. He doesn't like to probably drag the headlines that Benzema would do. So Mbappe, I think he could score a lot of goals. Last but not least, he could not leave the list, this player. He just could not. Cristiano Ronaldo, a point to prove. Definitely a point to prove concerning what is happening with Manchester United. He's going to come in there fresh. And I just think you can't ignore that goal-scoring ratio. That record is just crazy. Over 100 caps, over 100 goals. Definitely has all the potential to find the back of the net. And also, I did mention that this Portuguese side is the most talented squad. So he's going to get those chances, and he'll definitely put them away. Finally, the winner. I gave you guys my hint of who the winner is going to be. Last week, I said Argentina. I placed a bet on Argentina. But the other 2 that could rival Argentina is definitely Brazil. Brazil, have you seen that squad? Amazing. And then France. Despite all the injuries that France have, they still have a very good squad. But my winner, I would have to say, is Argentina. Please don't forget. Put it down in the comments. I want to see what you guys say. Who is your Golden Ball winner? Who is your Golden Boot winner? Who's your young player? I want to hear all of that. So those are my predictions. So early in the tournament. But those are my outcomes for those awards. So I was at an event in Soweto, and I bumped into people within the industry, and they asked me in terms of, what did I think of the Ronaldo interview? Considering the fact that if you go on my timeline on social media, I didn't retweet anything regarding that interview. I didn't tweet anything regarding that interview. In fact, I didn't like anything regarding that interview as well. So I was remaining quiet with the opinion to myself. And I just figured, okay, let me give my thoughts then. Let me give my thoughts regarding that interview. He opened up against the Glazers, spoke about Ten Hag, came after the former players that he's played with, Gary Neville and as well as Wayne Rooney, the younger players as well. Questioned the younger players that are coming in, the younger generation. And then he went on to the Manchester United facilities, and obviously he had that family situation. And I have to say that I feel for him. When you lose a child, I can't comprehend that feeling as well. And hence why he missed preseason as well, because obviously his other child was not feeling well. But I watched the interview, right? Both parts, part one and part two. And for the first time, I thought to myself, I don't think Ronaldo knew that he was Cristiano Ronaldo, the idol that he is, the guy who set the standards for such a long time. And whether he likes it or not, he kind of dropped the ball here. He dropped his own standards. I mean, leaving games, even before they're done. Vallecano, he did it. We thought that was over. And then there was a Tottenham game, he did that as well. Not wanting to come on, I mean, I understand. It was 3 minutes that he didn't feel like coming on. But at the same time, I feel like people forget that Cristiano Ronaldo is an employee to Manchester United. You signed the contract to come back to this club. And when he speaks about the facilities as well, I mean, that is something you should have done your due diligence on. You should have been able to know what the state of Manchester United is. And also consider the fact that at the time you signed, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the manager. So some of the stuff that he says, I just think that he did not necessarily do his homework before having to come back to the club. And the worst thing about it now is Manchester United now exploring ways of how to terminate his contract and potentially suing him as well. He could fight back in terms of feeling that he hasn't done anything wrong. But anybody who watches the game, anybody who loves this game, knows that this relationship between Manchester United and as well as Cristiano Ronaldo should have not ended like this. This is not how it was supposed to be ending. This story, not like this. Especially considering the fact that he's got ties to this club as well. Speaking about Sir Alex and obviously spoke about the Glazers as well. But I mean, these are grown men. They could have found time to just sit down and talk. And don't get me wrong, I don't think Ten Hag is out the woods as yet because he's been inconsistent with some of his conversations. But all in all, that interview was not needed. It was not needed at all. And I think it taints a little bit, just a little bit, of his relationship with Manchester United. But for football purists who's watched this game for such a long time, I will never forget the great moments that he's given into the game. And it'll be interesting in terms of which club does he join next, because what this situation shows is that not only is it an old player, but now it's like an old player that could potentially come with problems or come with having to be number one. So maybe if Ronaldo just lowers his wage demands, maybe there's a lot more options. Just maybe, Could he come to the DStv Premiership? I'd love it. There's a Sundowns, there's a Chiefs, there's a Pirates. There's many clubs, but good luck with his journey. Definitely not an interview that he needed to do, but I still respect his contributions to the game. It's time for our weekly bet of the week. The purpose of this segment is to show you my bet slip in hopes that it helps yours light and green. The more accurate, the more cash you get. Let's get into it. The World Cup has begun. And it's only fair with the games that are coming this week that the bet slip must be filled with World Cup games. But funny enough, I only have 3 games here. And again, you will not believe the odds. Game number 1, Morocco going up against Croatia. I've gone with Croatia winning that game. I can't believe the odds at over 2 for Croatia to win. That's a steal. I think Croatia will definitely win that game. Switzerland going up against Cameroon. I've gone with the Swiss. I think the Swiss will definitely take that one. And last but not least, Portugal going up against Ghana. I see a lot of goals here. I see tons of goals here. I've gone with an over 2.5. And with just those 3 games, the odds, 7.77. 7 times, guys. And with just $500, I could potentially get 4,000 Rand back. I mean, that is the magic of the World Cup. And those are my picks. That is Bet of the Week, sponsored by Betway. Remember to practice responsible betting at betway.co.za. Until the next one, all the best. So that's it. That's the end. The first one with this lovely, lovely background behind me. But I have to leave you with a question, of course. How do you think the African teams will do? I mean, so far we've seen Senegal play. We've seen Tunisia play as well. But how do you think in general they will do? Let me know in the comments what you guys think, because I have a slight worry. Slight worry. And I'm just hoping that they prove me wrong. For you that's watching, don't forget to like and subscribe. And hit the notification bell so you're notified for future episodes.